Ever felt like your art just isn't good enough? Like, no matter how much you improve, success seems just out of reach. Let's break down that together and talk about how we, as artists, can move past the doubts that hold us back. Let's start with something we've all felt: anxiety about our growth as artists. You know the feeling. You scroll through social media or see someone else's work and you think, I'll never be that good. You can spend hours on a piece only to pick apart every detail when it's done, focusing on everything you think went wrong. Worse yet, you wonder if your skills will ever get to a place where you can make a career out of this. This kind of self-doubt can be overwhelming. It's not just about your work, it's about how you perceive yourself as an artist. Are you good enough to belong in the art community? Are you wasting your time? These questions can eat away at your motivation, leaving you feeling kind of stuck. But here's the thing. These anxieties are normal. Every artist, whether you're a beginner, an amateur, or a seasoned pro, deals with this at some point. What sets us apart is how we handle these feelings. Today, I want to explore what drives this kind of self-doubt, share my own experiences with it, and offer some strategies to help you keep moving forward. So, why do we feel this way? Why is self-doubt such a universal part of being an artist? It often starts with comparison. Whether it's comparing yourself to other artists on social media or even your peers, it's easy to feel like you're falling short. And let's face it, social media doesn't help. Every scroll shows you polished, perfect pieces that make your own work feel inadequate. Then there's the pressure to improve. Growth isn't always linear, and when you hit those plateaus, it's hard not to feel like you've stopped progressing. You start questioning whether you're cut out for this, whether your style is unique enough, or whether you'll ever be able to draw correctly. Finally, there's the fear of failure. Putting your art out there, whether it's posting online or showing it to someone in person, it opens you up to criticism. And if that criticism isn't constructive, it can confirm your worst fears. Maybe I'm not good enough. These feelings can be paralyzing, but the truth is, they're actually part of the creative process. The goal isn't to eliminate doubt, it's to understand it and to learn to work through it. Let me tell you a bit about my journey with self-doubt, because it's something I've dealt with my entire life and something I expect to continue to deal with. For me, it started in high school. I was lucky enough to attend an art-focused school, which should have been an incredible opportunity. But instead of feeling inspired, I actually felt like I didn't belong. My classmates were so talented. There were students who can nail life drawing, others who painted like professionals, and almost everyone was better at technical drawing than I was. It was intimidating. I spent most of my time feeling like I was out of my league. It made me question why I was even there in the first place. Then came college, and getting in wasn't straightforward. I was waitlisted. And when I finally got in, I couldn't shake the feeling that it was only because someone better had dropped out. During my time there, both my peers and teachers praised my work, but I never believed them. I assumed their compliments were insincere, or they didn't realize how much I was struggling or faking it. You know, that imposter syndrome, it can affect artists too, and it definitely hit me hard. No amount of validation seemed to fix it. The anxiety and the self-doubt was just so deeply rooted. After college, things didn't get easier. Social media was just taking off, and suddenly I wasn't just comparing myself to peers. I was comparing myself to professionals that I admire. Every post I saw felt like a reminder that I'd never be as good as them. I tell myself, why even bother? I'll never get to that level. Even now, I still deal with those feelings. There are days where I feel confident in my abilities, and then there are days where I wonder if I'm just wasting my time. It's a continuous battle, but over the years, I've learned that what matters most is not letting that doubt stop me. You just have to keep at it. Now, let's talk about what we can do to combat these feelings. While there's no one size fits all solutions, there are a couple of strategies that can help. The first is learning how to handle criticism. And honestly, I can make a whole video about this. This is something really hard for a lot of us to handle. I mean, first of all, not all criticism is equal. Constructive criticism, incredibly valuable. It gives you insight into areas where you can grow. But the thing is, not all feedback will be helpful. Some comments, especially online, can be degrading or outright mean. It's hard to learn how to filter out the noise and focus on the feedback that will genuinely help you improve. And it is a skill that you're going to have to practice and keep at it. If you can learn this one thing, handling criticism, the growth potential is, man, it's out of this world. The next is building a healthier relationship with social media. And this is true for every single person on the planet. But for artists, this is something that directly impacts them in a very unique way. Social media isn't going to go anywhere. So it's important to manage how it affects you. It can be an incredible tool, but it can be a great detriment as well. Instead of comparing yourself to others and feeling defeated, try to use it as a learning tool. Analyze the work of artists you admire. Look at what they excel at, but also try to identify their weakness. I mean, no artist is perfect. They definitely have weaknesses. You just have to take a moment to analyze and try to spot them. For example, notice what your favorite artists are actually avoiding to draw. Maybe they're obscuring hands or shy away from complex background. This can give you insight that every artist struggles with something, and that when you're trying to compare yourself, try to realize that you're both humans, you're both developing, and you're both just trying to be better. And honestly, both of you, professional and you, have the same self-doubt. Next is to reflect on your growth. And this is something that's really easy to overlook, and it's actually quite helpful. It's easy to focus on where you think you might fall short, and very easy to forget how far you come. Take a look back at your work from about 2 or 3 years ago. I wouldn't recommend a year ago because it's still probably fresh. 2 or 3 for me is the sweet spot. You'll likely see significant improvement. A lot of artists try to redraw some of their old works. Redrawing an old piece is a great way to visualize your progress. And it's not just about seeing how much you progressed in your skills. It's also about how you see your thought process and creativity has evolved since then. The next is to reignite your passion. And this is when you're feeling really demotivated, you feel like you've hit that plateau, and that self-doubt and anxiety is really weighing on you. This is when you're feeling stuck, and reconnecting with what made you fall in love with art in the first place is incredibly useful. For me personally, that exercise is drawing fan art. Revisiting characters and stories that inspired me as a kid helps me remember why I love to draw. For you, it could be rewatching your favorite anime, rereading an old book or comic book, or maybe exploring a new video game to reignite that spark and really get you caring about your passion and just getting motivated to draw again. And at the end of the day, the single best way to push through self-doubt is just to keep creating. Even when you don't feel like it, even when you think the result won't be good. The more you draw, the more you grow, and the easier it becomes to quiet those negative voices. In past videos, I talked about how important it is to set up routines and to set up time in your life where you're just sitting down and drawing for the sheer joy of drawing. This is where that comes in the most handy. If you're struggling with self-doubt, remember that you're not alone. Every artist, no matter how skilled or successful, has felt this way at some point. What matters is how you respond to those feelings. Take it one step at a time. Focus on your progress, not perfection. And most importantly, don't give up. I love to hear your thoughts in the comments. How do you deal with self-doubt as an artist? What strategies work for you? Let's keep this conversation going and try to support each other as a community. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And as always, keep drawing.